Hello again, Kenny from Hangar 51 here. Wanted to go over a little foam repair. Yes, I had a crash with one of my planes, and this is one of my favorite planes, and it still is. I really like this this Flyzone FU Corsair. It's F4U. It's a really nice plane, and one of the reasons I bought this plane was because of its weight. It's only 3 pounds, and this is why the 3-pound airplane. The damage to this was minimal. It really was. So here's what happened. So I'm out flying it. Flies great, no problem. And I think it was my second or third flight that day. I go to take off, and we're flying a cow pasture. Of course, there's ruts and there's cow patties and there's stuff you got to dodge. Hey, it's part of the hobby. Hit a rut, nosed in, prop strike, blew the speed control. Now, it's a $45 speed control from Flyzone, and it didn't fare any better than these $8 speed controls I have, okay? I mean, one prop strike, and it was $45 toast. So it was a 40 amp speed control. This is a 30 amp speed control. It's a no brand name. I don't know what it is. All I know is it's Simon K flashed for the quadcopter. Been working great. I've had them on my quadcopters from the beginning. Months and months of use. Beautiful, no problems at all. They don't even get hot. So wonderful. So I had a bunch of them laying around. I threw one in the plane and thought, well, what the heck? I'll try. It's 30 amp, but it might be all right. And it worked fine. Plane flew great on 3 cells, no problem whatsoever. And then same thing, another prop strike, popped one of these. Okay, but this was an $8 speed control, not a $45 speed control. So that didn't hurt near as bad. You know, $45, you know, if you're going to be popping those every time, that's going to get very expensive. But this $8 one popped just like that. I'm at $8. So I threw another one in. No problem. Flying again, no problem. Well, I'm at the field one day, and I only have, you know, I've been flying on 3 cells, no problem. I thought, well, you know, I don't have any 3 cells charged, but hey, I got this 4-cell charge. Let's try that. So I threw it in there, took off, flying great, no problems. Unbeknownst to me, the thing was on fire in the plane. And the reason I know that is because there's a big burn mark in the fuselage. The speed control is actually tie wrapped right there, under the cowling, you know, and of course it caught on fire, burnt this all here, burnt the cowling, and melted the cowling to the point I couldn't fix the cowling. I had to order a new one, cheap. It was $16.99, I think. Comes painted, ready to put on the plane. So no big deal there. You know, of course, when I picked the plane up and saw, you know, the pieces and the burn mark, I assumed the battery caught on fire, but that wasn't the problem. There's a burn mark on the battery because the battery sits right here across these 2 Velcro strips sideways this way, and it was butted up against here. And the back edge of the battery was right here, and of course the back edge of the battery, because of the heat, it melted the shrink wrap, you know, actually split it open a little bit. And there was a big black burn mark on it, but the battery's fine. I checked the battery, I already tested it, it's fine. So, it was all split. You know, the fuselage is split across here, across here, across here. This was mushed pretty hard. You know, just from here forward, just this area had a mush in it, and then the wing broke in half. Actually in 2 pieces. It broke. Of course, this big chunk came out, and it broke right across here, and I had 2 pieces. You know, the only thing holding it together was the wire for the aileron, and of course this aileron tore loose. But there's 3 little hinges here, so I'll put a little bit of foam glue across the foam seam and glue those back in. It'll be fine. So of course it's, you know, I'm upset. It's broke. My favorite plane. One of my favorite planes. I mean, I really like the Corsair. I really like this model. I think Flyzone did an awesome job. And the fact that it's only 3 pounds is why the damage is minimal. Trust me. I was up 200 feet, was going to do a flat spin. Next thing I know, I don't have any control of it, and it's doing a lazy screw right to the ground. I don't have any control of it. And that's when I got out to the crash site and found the evidence of what had happened. So, okay, so this speed control on the 3525 motor and a 4-cell pack is not going to work. You know? So I learned that the hard way. This hobby's, you know, I'm a gas guy the whole time. This electric is all new to me, so haven't totally figured out the loads, amperage draw. I guess I need to get one of those motor stands and do some testing before I just throw stuff together and hope it works. That's good advice, as a matter of fact. Instead of just throwing speed controls in stuff and flying it and praying for the best and ending up with this, I could have done a test stand on the motor combination, saw what the amp draw was, and realized that it was way over 30 amps and that this wasn't going to work. And then I wouldn't have tried it, and then I wouldn't have this. Now, I've used the 4-cell pack on the quadcopter, and it works fine. But smaller motor, 4 motors, less load per speed control, so it can handle that. But it couldn't handle this plane. So anyway, and I apologize that I've already got it almost completely repaired before I started doing this. I would have liked to have shown you what it looked like crashed. But, you know, I put it away that night. Next day I got up, I thought, you know, I think I can fix that. And I started working on it, and it was going together so quickly, I was fixing it so fast, that before I realized I wasn't videotaping any of this, I already had it fixed. I was like, oh crap. So I thought I'd give you the partially repaired. It's not painted yet. I still have a lot more sanding and smoothing to do. But, so, now what I did was I'm using 5-minute epoxy to fix it, and doing one section at a time. So I did one split here, you know, glued it all back together, put tape around it to hold it together, let that dry. Then I moved over to this one and glued it back together, you know, and then used the tape to hold the fuselage in shape while it's drying. And then same thing here, I did this one, and then I did the boiling water. I dipped the plane up to here in the boiling water to get this back in form, in shape, and that's it. You know, we're pretty much it's pretty much fixed. You know, the fuselage is good. We're just need to do some final sanding, a little fill here and there. Now I had 2 dents in it. There was a dent here, and there was a big crease fold indentation right across here. And so I did the boiling water trick, but what I ended up doing, I put 3 pans of boiling water on the stove, and then one by one over the sink, I just poured the boiling water, concentrated it right on this spot here. You know, did a slow pour, boiling water right on that spot, and by the 3rd pan, it had come back out. Perfect. You know, came right back out. And then I did the exact same thing on this one, and this one didn't come completely out. I think I didn't glue it exactly in line perfect. So I'm gonna just put a little filler in that one. It's nice and the shape's perfect. There's just a tiny little indentation right there that the boiling water's not going to bring out because of the glue. So I'm just going to do a little fill there, and then this is fine, ready to paint, ready to fix, ready to go. Now the wing has a plywood spar, a bent spar obviously because of the shape of the wing. They can't put a round tube through it, so it's got a spar through here. And you know, it's a good design. They put a lot of holes in the spar to lighten it, and that really weakened it. So the split where it broke, of course, the plane hit the ground. So you know, I'm not saying it was a bad design. Of course, it found the weakest link was right through the middle of one of the holes. A little split. You know, there's a split in the wood there on the top and bottom that just snapped the spar in half, and then the wing was in 2 pieces. So on the bottom, it followed the side of the gear door and then finished up right through here. And then of course you can see in the front, because this piece is missing, where it went there. So put it back together, same thing, epoxy. I'll do some filling on this. I still have some work to do on filling this, but you can see where it went right back together. Some of the foam you're seeing is where I've dug it out, some of the glue, getting it prepared for the feather fill final sand before painting. I super glued the spar back together to hold it in place. And then I don't know if you can see in there, I'll get it close to the camera here. There's a round, about the size of a silver, about a $50 round piece of plywood that I put right in here. I'm going to move this around a little bit to see if you can see it in there. And then I put 2 screws in it. And what I did is I got it fitted in there and the screw holes drilled and threaded and everything ready to screw in. And then I took 5-minute epoxy again and I coated the whole spar in that area and the whole back side of the little round plywood plate. Put it in there, aligned it, put the screws in it, tightened the screws up so that there was a nice tight fit while the glue dried. And I'm just going to leave the 2 screws in there. But that's fixed. And the wing is perfect. It's nice and strong again. Not going to have any problems with either one. This plane's going to be fine when I'm done. And I'm going to show you the finished product. This is just stage 1 of the video I'm going to do. But when it's fine, when I finish painting it and everything, I'll show you the end result. You'll be very impressed. Yeah, the gear still works. The aileron servo still works. The lights still work. Everything still works. Nothing. Didn't cook anything. Didn't break anything. Just of course, the foam and the plywood broke, but yeah. But it'll be fine. It's going to glue back together. It's going to be a perfect finish. I got a 5-minute epoxy this in. This goes. I've had it in and out once. I'm not going to put it back in on camera for you unless I'm gluing it. I'm not going to do that right now, but I may run the camera while I'm gluing it. But it snaps right back into place. Completely fills this gap perfectly. And it's going to be an easy sand and paint finish. So this is going to work out great. Now here's some of the other damage. That's the motor mount. Of course I can straighten that, but you can see the burn mark on it right there, and where the speed control, because that was right where the speed control was. That smushed that pretty bad, and it bent the prop shaft. The shaft's bent. So I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's bent over pretty good. I'm going to attempt to fix it. I'm not expecting success there, but I'll try. We'll give it a shot. Nothing to lose. The motor spins free, so there's nothing wrong with the internals. It's just the shaft. So I'll have to see if I can get the shaft straightened out. And of course, it melted. Big burn mark on the back. My little fake engine tape's just holding the screws in that hold it on, but it burnt the back of that and melted this one pretty bad. They want $10 for this. I don't know if I'm going to spend $10 to fix this. I think I'm going to just doll it up as much as I can and just put it back in there the way it is, because $10 for a cosmetic fake engine is just too much, I think. I'm not going to spend $10 on that, I don't think. We'll see. But, I'll probably fix it and fly it a while fixed, and then eventually I may cough up $10 and buy a new motor. Didn't break the prop. Prop's still fine. So there it is, guys. So far, this is where we're at. I'll keep you up to date as I finish repairing it, and I'll show you the finished product. Hello again. Welcome back to Hangar 51. My name's Kenny, and we're going to finish up talking about the Corsair. The Corsair. Where'd it go? Oh, there you are. Okay, so this is the finish up on my foam repair. As I told you, it was going to be a good fix, and it came out amazing. And I'm going to get the camera, bring it over here, and I'm going to do some close-ups so you can see. What I did is I actually, through the repairs. Now remember, this wing was broken half right through here. There was a big chunk missing and a big crack through the middle here, and as you can see, it's gone. After I did all the repairs, I even went to the trouble of taking a folded piece of sandpaper in half and I recut all the little panel lines into it. Same thing on the fuselage. I recut all the panel lines back into it. In case you think that I pulled a fast one here and just bought another plane or another fuselage or whichever, this is the new cowl. Comes painted, you know, nice stuff. Here's the burn mark in the fuselage. This is where the speed control was and is again. The new speed control was right up against there. Battery here. There's the big burn mark. So, and then on the bottom of the wing, same thing. I recut the panel lines. Didn't get this one exactly right. It's a little wider here than it is on this side, but good repair. Just came out beautiful. Really did. It just, you know, if you came out to the flying field and I told you that I crashed this thing into a basket case, you wouldn't believe me. You'd swear up and down that there's no way that this plane was crashed. I gotta tell you, this foam, you know, I'm a balsa buildup guy. I've never done foam before. This is my first experience with foam, these new planes, and I gotta tell you, this foam is just so easy to fix. Oh my God. If that had been a balsa plane I crashed, this thing, I would have had a pile of sticks. There would have been no way I could have fixed that. I would have had to start over. You know, literally, I would have had to just rebuild the fuselage and probably this half of the wing at least. And here, I know I talked about not spending the $10 for this. I did spend the $10, and I'll tell you why. And it turned out after I straightened the motor shaft, and I did get the motor straight. So motor's good. We're good. We're going to reuse the same motor. The hub assembly is bent. This aluminum hub assembly. I don't think I can straighten that. I haven't tried yet. I didn't find that out until after I straightened the motor, and then it was still wobbling. And I put the motor back on the lathe, and the motor was straight, but this was wobbling. Well, a new hub came with this, so I went ahead and bought it. So there's the new motor in there, new hub assembly. So we'll put there's the 2-blade on there, and then if you want the 3-blade for scale effect, there's the 3-blade. So, but anyway, just super great job. Now here are the products, and I'm going to bring the camera over and give you close-ups, but DAP Fast and Final is called. This is a wall spackle. Get it at the hardware store. This thing weighs nothing. I mean, you'd swear this thing is empty. I handed it to my wife, and I showed her what I was using, and she says, well, this is empty. I said, no, that's full. She said, no, it's not. And I had to take the lid off, show her. Yeah, it's full to the top. I mean, this stuff is so light. It sands better than balsa, and it's a little stronger than the foam. So after you've filled it, sanded it, painted it, if you bump that part of the wing into something, the foam's going to dent easier than this will, but this will, dent and crack. I mean, it's not, but, it's at least as strong as the foam. So if you're going to do damage to the plane by bumping it into something, it doesn't matter if you've got this in it or if it's just the bare foam, you're going to do damage. But super lightweight, super easy to sand, beautiful product, just wonderful. So that's what you use to finish it off after you've glued it and prepped it for that. And then I've got this tube of glue. Where'd it go? Thought I had it here. It's called Goop. You can get it at the hardware store also. It's a good product for fixing the hinge. Remember the hinge was blown off. I glued the hinges back in, the little plastic hinge pieces, but then I ran a bead of this goop right where the foam, because it's got a foam hinge as well, and glued the foam back together, and this stuff's flexible, so it allows this to keep moving, and so it's really on there secure. I haven't flown it yet. Getting ready to fly it. Actually, probably tomorrow. But yeah, just came out beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Really happy. Now, listen, guys, if you get any plane you get that's painted foam, just immediately take a piece of it up to Lowe's and buy some this thing of touch-up paint. You just go in there, you tell them you want water-based sample. This is what they call sample paint. And this is the Valspar brand. And this is the light blue here. And this one's the white that's on the bottom of the plane, which I just thought was bare foam. Found out later it's off-white. So I got the off-white and the light blue. And I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you to use the Valspar from Lowe's. Because this is the dark blue. I got this from Home Depot. This is bare Home Depot. It doesn't cover very well. This stuff, I had to keep reapplying it, and I brush it all out. And I was using a foam brush, and I decided to try that. The little sprayer deal on the Mustang I didn't work out so good, and turned out didn't need it. The brush, it doesn't leave brush marks behind. It comes out beautifully. So definitely want to use the Valspar paint. It's also the Home Depot paint. It doesn't cover real well. You have to keep going back over it, putting more paint on it, and it dries very flat. And then if you've got a sheen of any kind on the plane, with semi-gloss, you're gonna have to clear it anyway. I clear it anyway, but most of the time. But there's been a couple of planes that I've done some touch-up work where I didn't need to clear it because it was already a lower satin finish. So I highly recommend you don't go with the Home Depot sample. Go with the Valspar from Lowe's. It covers much better. It's actually a little bit bigger. You get a little more paint, and it's actually a little cheaper. Pennies and tenths of ounces difference, not big deal, but it just covers better. It covers better. It's got a little sheen to it. It's kind of a satin finish. Just all around easier, better paint. So, just my advice. That's what you want. Just go get it for any model you have. It's $3, and $297, something like that. Have it on hand. You ding the plane up. You just touch it up with this stuff. It's fabulous. So just go spend the $3. If it's a multicolored plane, it's just so nice to be able to, you bang it into something, you make it look bad, just so quickly you can touch it up and it looks great again. So I highly recommend it. Other than that, everything, I'm still having some problems with the retracts. I don't know if they're just out of adjustment. And I've also got, we're going to get close on this one as well, but because I really want you to see how this plane is constructed. Guy on eBay obviously crashed one of these. He was selling off the good parts. So I got another canopy, another pilot. I got tail feathers, were undamaged. He ordered brand new retracts, and I think this was probably what did it. When he got the retracts and realized what he was going to have to do to put them in, I think he gave up, and I don't blame him, because this is not a serviceable retract. He was actually kind enough to send me the broken ones, which I don't know that the retracts themselves are actually broken. They look fine, but I can show you on the close-up. I can show you the spar and how this is installed in the wing, and how there's absolutely no way you're getting this out of the wing without destroying the wing. It's not you can buy these, but unless you plan on rebuilding the wing, you can't put these in the wing. It's just not going to happen. This is a major I mean, this is the wood spar right here, and it's actually glued right through the middle of the retract. It goes around it on the bottom here, but it's attached to this plate here. This is the spar going right through the middle of the retract. Okay, this is the wooden spar, and it's glued here. It's glued here. It's not serviceable. There's no way to get it out of the wing without destroying it. And then here, the foam covers all of this. Okay, which is where the screws are. And on the bottom side as well, the foam covers all of this. So this whole corner on both sides, the servo and everything, are completely covered by the foam. So, you know, you've got that much of the retract under foam, top and bottom. There's just no way to get it out of the plane. You can't get this out of the wing. I don't care if you were a surgeon. You can't get this out of the plane without major destruction to the foam. So it's a major rebuild, you know. And for the amount of work, listen, you can buy this wing. I think it was $100. And it comes pre-wired with the servos, everything's installed, the lights, the gear, ready to just bolt on the airplane for $100. Buy the wing. Just forget buying the retracts, and you know, I'll probably, what I'm planning on doing with these, you know, and he was selling the stuff really cheap, and I really wanted it for these so I could see how in the heck these things are put in the wing. And now that I see how they're in there, there's no way. If you break this wing, just go buy a wing, you know. I mean, if you can fix it like I did, if the retracts are okay, which mine apparently are not, and I'm not positive I can fix it, they're not cycling up and down right. I don't know if it's a timing issue with the doors, or the gear are bent, or I'm not exactly sure what the problem is yet. So, and I'm going to tell you guys, this is some other advice. If you're not flying off of a very smooth grass or paved runway, I would belly land this plane. Just suck the gear up inside, and I would take packing tape and just tape the bottom of the wings here, because that's the only thing that's going to touch the ground, is right here where the plastic doors are, and they're tucked up nice. You can even tape over the doors if you're afraid that they might get hooked and torn off. But I would just tape over all of that on both sides and leave the gear up and belly land it, because you know, if you mess up this gear, you can't fix it. There's just no way to get in there to fix this gear. You can't get it out of the wing. You know, there's screws right here, but the screws don't release anything that helps. I mean, it all comes out as an assembly, and as you can see, everything underneath that door is covered by foam. You know, the foam comes all the way over to the mechanism. So all of this stuff on the sides is covered up. You can't get to it. And at the top, you know, same thing. I mean, the whole wing is. It would almost be easier to. Well, no, you can't take it out the top because the spar is solid on the top. So you can't take it out the top. It's got to come out the bottom. If you could get it cut away from the spar, there is a notch in the middle of the spar right here. If you could get in there and cut it away from it, you could literally pull it off the spar out the bottom. You can't get it out the top because the spar's solid here. And these are the holes I was talking about earlier. They've drilled these big holes through the wood, and that, of course, is broken the exact same place, right through the spar. So that's that. Not knocking the plane. Still love this airplane. I love the look of it. I love the way it flies. It's an awesome, awesome airplane. Just giving you a little heads up. Some things to be careful of. You're not going to be able to service this landing gear. So if you and at all in doubt about where you're flying this, and you think it could mess up the gear, then just, you know, catch it. You know, suck the gear up and catch it, or find a nice piece of grass and just land it on the belly in the grass, leave the gear up, and you know, just save the gear, because you know, it's awesome landing gear, and it cleans up so beautiful, but it just isn't. It doesn't. You know, I'm flying out of a cow field, and it's just punishing the hell out of it. So we're gonna cut to again. I apologize for not giving you the step by step as how I fix this, but what I am gonna do, I'm gonna replay the wing repair I did on my P-51. If you haven't watched that, I'm not going to make you go look for it. I'm going to put it right in here right now. And it's going to walk you through step by step the procedure to fix the foam. And the procedure is exactly the same I did on this as I did on that. Okay, I'm fixing a wingtip on there, but I'm fixing it exactly the same way here. Same steps, exactly the same procedure. So I'm going to run that, and then when we get back, I'm also going to get you a close-up of, you know, the plane itself, show you where the damage was, and show you how it all came out. You know, so because I know right now it looks great from this distance, but honestly, it really looks that great, and that's why I want to bring the camera close, because it's amazing how good this came out. It really is. I'm okay. I'm proud of myself. But I got to tell you, it's just the foam is so easy to fix. My God, it's just nothing like a balsa airplane. I don't know if you've ever built stick airplanes, where you're putting all the ribs together and all the balsa and all the. And it just, you crash one of those and you can't fix it. You just rebuild it. You literally have to cut out new spars for the wing, or new spars, firewall, or stringers for the fuselage. You just have to start over. You get on the plans, you draw out all the new stuff, cut out new balsa, and you just rebuild it, because you can't fix it. The foam you can fix. You just heat it all up with the boiling water, and you get it all formed back where it belongs, and you glue it back together, and then you just feather, fill, and paint, and it's done. It's just a totally different experience. So, okay, so let me get to the, I'm going to show you the video. Okay, so these are pictures of the way I received the plane, the damage to the wing. You can see on the top and the bottom. It's got, I don't know what they used to glue it back together, but obviously they didn't use the hot water to bring the foam back to its original shape first and then glue it together. They just glued it back together. And I say they, I'm the third owner of this plane. I don't know at which point. The guy I bought it from said he bought it already with the wing broken. I don't know. I'm just reporting what I know. So that's why I used the they, because there was two owners before I had it. My guess is the second owner liked the plane but didn't like the damage and didn't know how to fix it. So that's what it looked like when I got it. Here's my first. What I did was I mixed up some 5-minute epoxy and some micro balloons, and I made well, first I used hot water to bring it back to its correct shape, and there was a bow in the end of it, and I took that out and everything, and then I used this epoxy micro balloons mix to fill in all the gaps where the foam didn't fit back together correctly. So I wanted it as solid as possible. So I put all that in there and let that dry. And then I used a wall spackle that you can get at Walmart anywhere. It's this very, very lightweight wall spackling for filling holes in your wall. It works phenomenal on model airplanes. Balsa, foam, doesn't matter. It's very, very light. Sands super easy. So I put that's what this white mess is all over it. And so then I just sanded it out, got it all smoothed out. Then this is automotive, just gray automotive primer, spray can automotive primer. And sprayed it all down, taped off the decal on the bottom of the wing, and painted around it. Got that all smoothed, got the primer all smoothed out, and then I started laying the color. Now, the top coat, again, I just went to Lowe's. I took the canopy with me to Lowe's, and I showed them I need this color. And, they took a picture of it and matched it perfectly. It just matched perfect. So, no complaints there. Sprayed a few coats of that. You buy that little airless, it's got a little charge can, a little glass bottle and a charge can on top that will turn, paint, any kind of canned or bottled paint into a spray paint. The sprayer doesn't work phenomenally well. It gets clogged really easy. It's got one tiny little breathe hole in the top, and you absolutely can't get any paint in that hole. So you really can't shake the bottle or move it too much. As a matter of fact, don't fill the bottle more than half full, because you're going to end up getting paint up in that little hole, and then it's going to stop spraying, and then you got to take it apart and clean it, and it's kind of, it was very time consuming to spray the top of the wing. The good news is it came out beautifully. And after I did that, the bottom, I just went to the store, bought automotive spray can of silver paint that looked close to the color on the bottom of the wing. It matches very close. I think it was just a universal silver automotive paint. Dusted that on the bottom, and then I bought a can of clear, automotive clear spray can,
and I cleared over the top and bottom to try to get a little more durability on the paint because it's a water base. Now I bought the water base. I don't really think it matters. I think you could probably use either one, the water base or the oil base. I bought the water base. It worked out fine. The color's beautiful. I shot some clear over it for just a little more I don't know, durability, I guess is what I was trying to achieve, and to get that sheen. Yeah, it's not actually a gloss. It's not really a flat. It's kind of a satin. So I dusted the clear on there to get that satiny look. Mine's a little shinier than, the repaired area is just a little shinier than the non-repaired area, but that's okay. It looks fine. I'm very happy with it. Okay, guys, I'm back. And I'm just going to give you a close-up of the products I'm using. This is the goop. Again, get it at any of the hardware stores, big box stores. This is a flexible, pliable. When it dries, it stays flexible. So I actually used it on a different airplane to glue the canopy on, because I figured if I ever needed to get the canopy off, change pilot or whatever, it would be easier to get off. So it works great on canopies. I actually glued my wingtip lights back on. The lenses popped off from the crash. I glued them back on with the goop. Glued again the hinge right through here. There's a I can't really, I don't think you can see it, but I'm trying to show you. It's actually foam. It's a foam hinge. Same thing back here. I actually glued this too. The rudder has the same hinge, and it's flexible. They don't cut the foam all the way through. Elevator same way, and it stays flexible. They tear, but the goop worked great to repair it, so that was great. This is the wall spackle I was telling you about. DAP, fast and final. Okay. Again, any of the big box hardware stores will have this. Super lightweight. It says right there, lightweight spackle, lightweight spackling, and super product. This is what you want to fix your foam with, because after you sand it, you can sand it with this stuff. It sands just like the foam. It comes out great. So, and then the sample paint from Lowe's, Valspar, and this is the color. What you're seeing through the window there, that's a clear window, so that's how you can tell what color it is. This is the light blue on the bottom of the wing, and this is the Home Depot. Again, I don't recommend the Home Depot. Don't let the loyalty to store. Listen, I used to work for Home Depot. I was loyal to them for years, but honestly, when their product is not as good as somebody else's, I'm not going to keep buying their product. And I got to tell you, the Valspar paint, at least in these samples, I don't know about real life or any of that. I'm just telling you, for your model airplane, get the samples from Lowe's, the Valspar, get the water base. I don't think it matters, but I bought the water base. Works great. This is the off-white. It's in the center section of the bottom, and then this is the light blue on the bottom of the wings. So those are the products I used. Again, here's the close-up of the Retract, okay? And as you can see, it's a solid, this is the actual wooden spar right here. Okay? It goes right through the middle of the Retract. There's actually a channel in the Retract. And on the top side, you can see right there where it's got a V relief in the wooden spar so that this can drop in from the bottom. But again, there's just no way. And here's another thing. The control rods that work the doors go through holes in the spar. How in the world are you supposed... There's no relief there. How are you supposed to get that through the spar, you know, with the wing all assembled? How in the world are you supposed to put those rods through that wooden spar on each side? I mean, I'm telling you, it's just not possible. You know, listen, if you've done this and you've videoed it, I want to see it. you put it up on YouTube, because I want to see how you fix this, because I just don't see it happening. And I just definitely don't see it happening when I can just buy a whole ready-to-go wing for $100. Brand new retracts, lights, sir, everything's already in it, ready to go. Just bolt it on and go fly. So, you know, I only paid $10 for all of this stuff, including the brand new retracts. So, and he threw the old ones in. But yeah, I had to show you this. I just don't see any way that that's a serviceable retract. It's a good working retract until you crash the plane, but I just don't see it being serviceable. If I come up with anything new about it that would be helpful, I'll let you know. But where I stand right now, I don't see any way in the world to get this in and out of a wing without destroying the wing. So it's just not serviceable. Alright, so here are the close-ups of the wing, so you can see the finish. Again, this whole section here, in here, was broke out, right through this area here. You saw it in the first part of the video. This was removed, you know, there's a big chunk of it missing, and then the crack went all the way down the wing here. And you can see I've pretty much, now there's one spot right here that's a little smoother. You know, I had a lot more putty on it here, so it actually sanded out all of the foam, but the rest of it, the foam lines are all still pretty much there. And then I recut all these panel lines back in with just a piece of sandpaper folded in half. Just fold it in half, use that little edge, and just lightly, you know, sand through your putty, and you can sand all these lines back into the panel to make it look like it's never been fixed. And again, it's not perfect. You can see right here a little bit, I kind of over sanded a little bit right there, and you know, I got a nick in it there, but there's this damage was on the plane when I got it brand new. That was already on it when I got it. So that's just, you know, it's foam. It happens. And then the same thing on the fuselage. Okay, I had to resand these panel lines back into it. This is the area that I poured the water out of the pans to get this to come back out. This was caved in right here, and this is still very rough. That's the original decal, and of course it, you know, expanded the foam and made this real bumpy like a golf ball, and it still is. It's hard to tell in the picture here, but I didn't want to take the decal off. I just painted around it. You know, good enough. I do have the Lucy Bell decal. I haven't put it back on yet. I'll put that back on. I saved the Lucy Bell decal, so that's going back on there. But, you know, all through here where the cracks were, it was split across here, down this side. Here's a spot here that's pretty smooth. That's the area that I glued a little bit wrong, so I had to fill. So there's a pretty smooth spot right there where the foam is, you know, there's no texture of the foam anymore. But all in all, you know, it just really came out beautiful. It's, you know, you'd be hard pressed to believe that this has been crashed, and especially crashed as bad as it was, because, you know, this was all bananaed open. You know, the fuselage just bananaed open in the front here. It's split wide open, and, you know, to the point where the hatch, it was broken through here, and the hatch didn't have anything to latch onto because this was just, you know, flapping apart, you know, like this. You know, it wasn't connected there, so I had to glue this back together here, and this is not exactly lined up anymore. It's still a little crushed because the hatch here is a little bit tight on the ends. So when you push it on, you know, of course the latch is positive, but it ain't going anywhere because it's kind of pinched. This is still bowed out just a little bit. Should be, you know, probably like that. So it's bowing out a little bit, but it's close enough. I'm very happy with it. You know, overall, the repair just really came out really nice. And I think, you know, I hope you can tell in this video that, you know, I hope this helps you repair a foam plane. And if you have any questions, again, put them at the bottom of the video. I'll answer any questions I can for you. If there's something you want to see, a specific technique, just put it in the bottom of the video. I do have a plane I need to do. I fixed it, flew it. I didn't make it pretty, so I can go through those procedures on that plane and show you exactly how to, prep the epoxy, and then prep the, if it's, again, it's the same as the wing repair you just watched. So the procedures are the same. But if you really want to watch me live doing it, I'll actually videotape me doing it live with the other plane that I'm going to fix, and you can actually see it happen before your eyes. It's a piece of crap plane I reviewed before. Wasn't happy with it. I recommend you didn't buy it. I crashed it really hard, and I fixed it. I'm flying it again, but I didn't make it pretty this time. I just put it back together and flew it. So it's kind of my kick around plane now. I really don't care. But in the interest of helping people out, I will spend the time to actually make it pretty, and videotape the procedure if you want to see it, so that you can see exactly how this foam repair works. There's one other thing I didn't put in here. I'm going to go get that in here, and I'll put it at the very end. Duplicolor Clear at the automotive store. If you can see the shine on here, that's the clear. I took the Duplicolor, especially because this Home Depot paint is flat. And this area is not painted. And you can see the factory, it comes from the factory with a little bit of a sheen on it. And then I dusted the clear, so it's a little shinier. But it was absolutely flat. There was no sheen to it. With the Home Depot paint, so I had to do something to get the sheen back. And I think the automotive clear is going to make it more durable, because it's very smooth now, and it really feels like the paint is stuck on it good. I mean, when you feel this now, it just feels solid. It's kind of hard to explain that on video, but it does. So yeah, Duplicolor Clear. I'm going to grab the can and show you that real quick. Okay guys, I'm back for the final here real quickly. Here it is. Duplicolor, perfect match, protective clear coat finish. It's compatible with the paint, both the stuff they use and the stuff I use, because I haven't had it lift anything or react with it. So there's no rattle ball in this, so don't think you picked one up and it's defective because it doesn't have a rattle ball. There's no ball in it, so apparently whatever's in it doesn't need mixing. The clear just, I mean, I'd shake it anyway, but it's obviously, if it doesn't have a rattle ball, it doesn't need much shaking. But this is, so far I've had no problem. I used this on the wing repair that you watched earlier. Same stuff. Works great. And pick it up at any automotive store probably that has, touch-up paint. So that's it. That's the final. Back to the video. Okay, so that's it. That's the fix. That's the close-ups. That's the repair. And there's no doubt it's going to fly just fine. I'm not the least bit worried about it flying. The gear might be an issue, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that. If I want to, honestly, what I'll probably end up doing is buying. I think this is available in a kit form, which will probably come with the well, I'm sure it'll come with the gear installed in the wing. It probably won't have the center servo for the ailerons, which is a very easy install. It won't have the servos for the rudder. It won't have a speed control. Won't have a motor. But everything else will be there, and that's fine because I can put all the stuff into it and go fly it. And I'll just make this a table piece because it looks, it's beautiful. And I'd be very proud to have this sitting here, and I wouldn't even have to tell people I fixed it. Just let them admire it because it's just a beautiful airplane, and it flies so good that I want another one because I want to fly it. It really does fly good. It's the second best flying plane I have, and by far the best value as far as dollars for fun. This is the plane because it just flies so good, and it was less than $300 for the ready to fly with a transmitter.
you just can't beat it. This is the plane. You will absolutely love flying this airplane. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Hope that helped. Any comments, put them at the bottom of the video. Like me here, subscribe to me here, like me on Facebook, and we'll see you on the next review, which is coming up. Keep your eyes open because I have a new product, and I bought this one. No freebies yet, and I don't really care if I get freebies. I'm just, if you want to send them, I'll review them. But otherwise, I just buy what I want, buy the stuff I like. Really love this plane, so I bought it, and I'm going to review it. So keep your eyes open for that, and we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.